Student Services, and I have my lovely Tristan. Tristan, would you like to introduce yourself today?
Hi, I'm Tristan Cardenas. I'm the head commuter assistant in the Dean of Students office. So I help run the Commuter Student Services program, as well as a mentorship program that we'll talk about a little bit about later. And we can go ahead and get into the program. And just a heads up, any questions that you have, we'll answer at the end of the presentation. Or feel free to email us, and the information will be on the last slide if you want to take a picture of that.
Awesome. So let's jump right in.
Okay.
All right, so who we are and how we can help. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, so the Commuter Assistant Program is located within the Dean of Students office, as well as the Parent and Families Program. And we're physically located on campus in the Student Center building on the second floor. Our department consists of our assistant dean, a graduate student, which is me, and then Tristan, who is our commuter head student. And then there are up to 20 students that work underneath Tristan and very closely with her to be able to create programming for students that we work with. And our largest job on campus is to be able to bridge the gap between undergraduate students that are commuter students and being able to have a positive experience on campus. And Tristan will explain further on what those bridging the gap, what that looks like. However, we do a lot of programming with our students to ensure that they have a positive experience. And so we can pop over to the next slide, I believe. All right, so the reason that our department exists on campus is because commuter students have a very different living and commuter experience than our students that live on campus. And so at the University of Houston, we have over 80% of students that identify as commuter students. Now, commuter students are students that can live 1 mile off campus, 10 miles off campus. It could take them an hour or even more longer to get to campus. So anyone who lives off campus, meaning not in university dorms or housing, which would be apartments on campus, are considered commuter students. And I mentioned that they have a very different experience. So the University of Houston has a lot of different departments and a lot of different programs that occur. And so we are here to ensure that students have a positive experience and that they're able to engage and they feel empowered to be able to get involved on campus. And Tristan can kind of take it from here and explain a little bit further of the different areas that we interact with most and then our programming.
Okay. One thing I'd like to add is that it's roughly 80%, but that's always fluctuating just given on if they're building more dorms on campus. So if we're able to accommodate more people or just like what the makeup of Houston looks like. And that's one of the reasons why we're one of the most diverse ethnic universities in all of the United States is because we draw from people that live in Hawaii. And then there's just people that like live right next door. So we have a wide variety of people that come to campus. One of the main things that we deal with as commuter students is parking and transportation. If you don't live on campus, it is reasonable to assume that you're going to be getting here somehow, whether that be walking, biking, taking the metro, or driving a car. But the main office that we tend to answer questions with is parking and transportation. A lot of the information is on their website. You can always Google them if you want to get more information. Parking permits, that's something that you have to have. Everything's done online, and especially since they implemented zones kind of recently, there's different levels of parking. So it ranges in cost. So the most expensive parking would be garage parking. That ensures that you'll have a spot. It is also the closest to the center of campus. So there's the Welcome Center garage, there's Stadium garage. You'll have a short walk onto campus if you do garage parking. However, it's also very expensive. That's an option for you. That's great. But there's also zoned parking, which we have like A lot, B lot, and you have a specific lot that you have to park in and then walk onto campus from there. Something that I personally suggest is looking at where a lot of your classes are, if you already have access to that information, and then taking your parking lot accordingly, because you don't want to have your lot all the way across campus if you can help it. But reasonably, if you're a freshman year student, you're going to be taking a lot of core classes, and those tend to be scattered across campus anyway. The further you get into your education, the more likely you'll be in one or two buildings, and you can more finely tune where you want to be parking. For instance, if you're an engineering student, you might want to get a lot by the architecture building. And if you are in the education building, you'll want something like lot C or D, but the metro line runs right past there. So always be aware of stuff like that. So you want to, and then the third option is remote campus parking. If you park at ERP, then you're going to have to bus onto campus. You have to wait for the bus to come to you, and then you have to ride onto campus on that bus. So that's always something to take into account. But it is the cheapest. I will say that it is the cheapest. Late nights, we have security escorts that we offer. If you call this phone number, if you're feeling unsafe, you spend the late night on campus, you've been studying in the library, but no one can walk you to your car, or you've been studying alone, and you just want that extra sense of security. I know, because I have the same thing. I carry pepper spray on my purse. You can call this number, and they have a little van that will ride you around, because the buses don't run all night. Campus shuttles, you can follow that link and go use the campus shuttles. That's what I was talking about with the buses. They take different routes, so you'll probably want to know the routes, because some of them go to ERP, and then some of them go to the fraternity and sorority houses, and then other of them go like around the zone parking. And you don't want to get on the bus that's not going to where you're going, because I've done that before and it was so embarrassing. There's also the Coast program that we work with, which is a great idea if you want to ride the metro bus, either the shuttles or the tram. University of Houston students actually get a metro discount, as well as, I believe, a prepaid card for about $20. I think that you get half off as well. So the $20 monthly, I believe, will help pay for your metro rides. We have a zip card discount, and we have carpool options. For instance, if you live somewhere in the Woodlands area and you have a friend that lives like right next to you that is also going to U of H, you can get a carpool pass, which will give you parking in a garage, and it will give you a discount on the parking there. And so you don't have to pay for two separate passes, you can pay for one. But something with that you always want to look into to make sure is that your schedules are similar enough to where you're not going to be stuck on campus all the time. But I believe they also give you some allowances on that. I always recommend going into the Coast program, seeing what can work for you, because especially if you have more than one friend, it gives you even a higher discount. So save your money if you can. It's always an option. Look into it. Or email us and I'll try to get you the information. Eating and dining on campus. A lot of people have questions about this, because as commuter students, you don't have a regular meal plan. You don't feel like you want to eat at Moody Dining Center all the time, 100%, but sometimes you want to. There's a bunch of places to eat on campus. The Student Center, I believe the satellite's under construction right now, but there's also campus restaurants, food trucks, dining halls. The food trucks will be scattered across campus. Some of them take Cougar Cash, which is kind of like a lunch money system. Like, you put lunch money into your account, or your parents, I'm not going to judge. So they put money into your account, and then you can spend it on food around campus. Some food trucks take money. There's also Cougar Marts, which are kind of like little grocery stores. I think that I would compare them to like a little bitty Walgreens. They have like little sandwiches and stuff like that you can take and pay for there. There's also a commuter meal plan, which is kind of like what I mentioned, the Cougar Cash or meal exchanges. You can use that. And you can also pack your lunch, because on campus we have a bunch of different places where there's microwaves. There's microwaves in the library, and there's microwaves in the student center. Another tip that I recommend is to always time out when you kind of want to use the microwave, because around lunchtime it gets really crowded. And especially now, you don't want to be in a people heavy area. but you also want to get your food heated up. So go a little bit earlier, go a little bit later, but just be aware that there's hot spots for the microwaves. There's commuter friendly lounges, which if you look into this link, once again, you can look at that. And I believe we have like refrigerators and stuff that you guys can use there. University resources. I'm not going to do all of them, but I'll touch a little bit on some of the ones that are super important and that I know a little bit more about. Career services, there's a building on campus. They're right next to Center of Students with Disabilities. They help with resumes. They help with cover letters. They can help you look for internships. You can schedule appointments with them, and they help kind of figure out, like, if you want to know exactly kind of what path you want to go into, they can help with that. They can help you with like your LinkedIn profiles, anything for professional development. You can reach out to career services and see if they offer stuff like that. They offer etiquette workshops. And actually right now, I know that career services has a YouTube channel. If you're interested in looking at that stuff, they record their lectures and they post it on there. Center for Students with Disabilities. If you are someone that needs accommodations, it is always best to get them in early because you want them on file in case you want to use them. Don't be embarrassed about it. Don't wait until you have to use them right then. Get them through the system and have them on the back burner just for when you need to use them, because they can get clogged up with that. Counseling and psychological services. That's in the same building as career services. They offer the CAPS program. They have individualized therapy as well as group therapy. And I believe that they offer certain services for free, but if you need more specialized services, like you need a one-on-one therapist for an extended amount of time, they can direct you towards people that can help you. And it is, if you're ever feeling down, you ever feel upset, or it's always best to be proactive and jump ahead of the curve. If you're feeling down, like, this is a resource that's accessible to you, keep it at the back of your mind. Center for Student Involvement, they can help you connect with clubs on campuses or organizations on campuses that are related to your major or just like hobbies that you like. There's all sorts of clubs. There's a ping pong club, there's a dodgeball club, there's competitive ballroom dancing, and they know all of that kind of stuff. So get in touch with them for that. The LGBTQ Resource Center, that's a fantastic resource. I know that they have scholarships, they have workshops if you want to become an ally, they have all sorts of things for you there. The A.D. Bruce Religion Center, where they have quite a few different religious organizations. It's set up as a church, but a bunch of people have religious meetings there. The Rec and Wellness Center. The Rec and Wellness Center has so much that they can offer you, and they pretty much all of it is free. And it's something that we pay for with our tuition, so it's always good to use that resource. They have badminton, they have a pool, they actually have two pools. You can do competitive swimming and you can do like leisure swimming. They have a bunch of machines, they have yoga classes, they have like Zumba classes. They have so much, and it's always great to look at in there. If you like smoothies, they have a Smoothie King in there as well. They have Tea Tuesdays if you are a tea fan like myself. The Health Center, Police Department, Women and Gender Resource Center, all of this is available to you guys, and they all have websites of their own if you want to look into that more in depth. And here is our information. We're located in the Dean of Students office, like Aoife said. I will reiterate where exactly it is. It's on the second floor of the Student Center. If you go up that first staircase and take a right, we're down that hallway. And there's a sign there that says Dean of Students office, and we're right in there. We have a Twitter, we have a Facebook, and this is our email as well. If you use this email, it will be directed to either Aoife or me, and I can email you back about any questions you might have about the programs, as well as programs that we offer. If you are a first year student or a transfer student with under 30 hours, credit hours, then we offer a mentorship program through the Commuter Assistant Program. I employ a group of about 20 people, and they act as mentors for first year students. It's just a really great way for people to connect with people that are like them, either in the area they commute from or from the major that they're interested in. And it's basically, we consider ourselves the RAs for the students that don't live in a dorm. We answer the questions that you might want to know. We help like create a sense of community where you may feel alone, because it is statistically proven that commuter students are less likely to feel connected to the campus, and they don't really feel like they belong, and they typically just come on campus to immediately leave. And we don't want that to be the case. We want you to have a great college experience where you feel like you've gotten the most out of it as possible. And creating a friendship group on campus is like a really integral part of that. It's like the main first stepping stone to get you in the right direction. And it's always great to have someone where you know you can ask all the questions that you want to, and have that like first friend on campus. We also host events for that program. Some of my CAs hold games every Friday for people to play Among Us or Scribble.io or a bunch of different stuff. Some of the monthly events that we've had a carnival, we've had all sorts of different stuff, and we're always trying to be creative and really help everyone have a good time, especially in today's situation. It can feel really dark, but having a little group is so important, and so it's such a like a light in a bunch of our students' lives. So I really recommend that to anybody. And if you are out of that age group, you can always apply to be a mentor to those students. So yeah, I think that's the end of this presentation. And if anybody has questions, I and Aoife can probably answer them. But if not, our email is right there, and I can always get back to you then.